Disruptions cost business considerable amounts a year. I think it would be very fair to assume that something in the region of 1% of GDP.
Our database of supply chain disruptions has shown that over 35% cost more than $100 million to the companies involved. And they actually result in 10% lower sales and 11% higher cost of goods sold. In many companies, that can completely wipe out your margin.
The most common causes of disruption are typically headlined by the natural catastrophe events such as earthquakes, floods, tornadoes and the like.
Everyone thinks of physical disruption as being the most costly to companies, but in fact it's often other things that disrupt their production lines. In our studies, physical damage didn't even rank in the top 5. It was things like accidents or strikes or even regulatory changes that really caused the problems to companies.
The example of the Chilean earthquake in 2010 suggested that rather than focus on asset value and the loss of value from that perspective, organisations would be better advised to look at revenue effects.
You can recover from not doing something for a couple of days, but if you actually lose a customer in those couple of days, how many months does it take you to actually get that customer back?
In order to increase business resiliency, it's important to be more proactive than reactive. Put things in place ahead of time so you can respond accordingly. And that actually becomes a competitive advantage for you.
Zurich's taken a very broad perspective when looking at supply chain risks. We've introduced an insurance product which responds to that rather than to the traditional risks associated with physical damage and the loss of assets, where Zurich's approach is much more focused upon profit impact across a broad range of supply chain risks.
So to me, the very fundamental message for organisations is that though it is important to have some sort of horizon scanning and look at threats and risks, ultimately you want to look at the things that you need to be able to do. And if you are interrupted with those things, how else would you do them?
Sometimes in order to prepare for change, it's important to change the way you prepare.